This is the School Success Podcast, a podcast for school leaders to learn from other school leaders what's working and what's not, and to get inspiration and encouragement, as well as strategies to grow school enrollment, connect with families, retain teachers, recruit teachers, and everything in between. You guys are heroes, and I cannot thank you enough for pouring into this next generation that's coming behind us. My goal is you will take at least one thing away from every episode that you can take back to your school to make it better than it is right now. Please enjoy the School Success Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by the Herzog Foundation.
Time for school.
Hey, School Success Makers. Welcome to another edition of the School Success Podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Slater, joined by a new friend out of the great state of Oregon. And it's Joanna Haralson, who is the owner of unify, which you guys are going to hear all about here in just a little bit. We're going to talk all about uniforms. And some people might be going, uniforms, I love them or I hate them. Well, you'll probably even have more of an understanding after today's episode on if you really, really do love them or if you really, really do hate them. And hey, that's okay either way, but we are going to talk about the importance of uniforms, history of uniforms, and all things uniforms. So I hope you guys are ready for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But before we jump into all those things, I always pass it off to the guests to do a quick introduction of themselves. So Joanna, welcome to the podcast today.
Hi, Michelle. It's great to be here today with you. I became interested in uniforms because my children attend the school that requires them. So my first introduction to it was as a mom that was really overwhelmed by the kindergarten shopping list for my daughter. So that was kind of my first introduction, was maybe not the most friendly. Then as a support parent volunteer on the technical side for the school, so I get to understand how the school actually manages and kind of a little bit of the school side of running a uniform program. And that what brought me to starting the uniform related business. So that's kind of my uniform story here wrapped up.
I love it. Well, we're going to dive into all of it here in just a few minutes. Before we do that, I always ask every guest the same question, before we get started. And it's this. I know you're in Portland, Oregon, so I always say this. If I was to visit you in Portland, Oregon, what would you say, Mitchell, you need to eat this and do this to experience Portland, Oregon?
Yes. So Portland is very foodie. It's not just the recipe. It's where the food came from. Is it organic? Is it locally sourced? We are very, very particular. Everybody has their personal diet. So I would probably put the two together for you. We have actually a really nice wine country here just south of Portland, the Willamette Valley. Fantastic pinots and wine tasting tours that are really, really, really well done. So you can drink and visit the country in one. On the slope of Mount Hood, there's something called Fruit Loop, which is just a series of orchard with fabulous farmer-run stores with just delicious food samples, and then you enjoy the beautiful views of the mountain, of the Columbia River Gorge, and sample some solid local produce. So I think that would be the itinerary that I will put for you if you were to come and visit us here.
That's a good one. I love, vineyards are so beautiful too. Anytime you go to like anywhere like wine country, I just feel like that's a beautiful area. I've been to Napa Valley before, and I thought that was just gorgeous, like that type of area. So sounds like a good time. So I appreciate it. That's good. And I've never been to Portland before. I've been to Oregon, just not Portland. So one day I need to go there, and people say, you obviously foodie. I've heard that for years. So I'll be eating a lot of good stuff when I come one day. Well, as we jump in here, we're talking about uniforms. Let's do this. Tell me a little about, I've been on the fence about uniforms myself for years, and I was homeschooled my entire life. So I wore pajamas pretty much to school every day. And then we also homeschool our kiddos, and same thing. You can wear whatever you want at the school. But I've always been like, uniforms. I don't know. My wife went to private Christian school her whole entire life. And I remember her saying, oh man, I didn't like wearing uniforms because I wasn't able to express myself. I didn't get to wear whatever I wanted. And so there were things that she got to do. Like, I think you could wear whatever shoe you wanted. And I think you could do your hair any way you want it or something. There's a way she could still express herself. But I would love to hear from you. I don't know how deep you know about uniforms, but what is kind of like maybe even the history of uniforms and maybe why we have them, where they came from, and why they're still in place today.
Hmm. I think the history is a little bit varied. Depends how far you want to go. If you want to go all the way antiquity, they had certain parts of their dress that would express who they are, what part of society they belong to, or even what their job is. All right, and we've inherited a little bit of that. We have uniforms for police officers, soldiers, and various jobs that the nurse scrub is also a form of uniform that just tell us right away by their dress what their occupation is, for example. Uh, a little bit, antiquity, a little bit more modern history. I think that's kind of where you trace the school uniform history to. Begins with England about 16th century. They have what was called charity schools, and they would require, I don't really know if require is the right word, they would probably give the students that attended their charity school that obviously were very impoverished an outfit to wear, and they were all the same outfits for all the students. Uh, they was probably motivated by the fact that those students might really not have very many clothing items to choose from, and you give them a group identity that they're all part of this wonderful schools. And so there's the unifying factor, and there's also the leveling of social economics presented through that uniform. And the Brits continue with that uniform tradition, but then it's adopted by their really top tier schools as more of a way to showcase their school pride. That this is more of a privilege to be a part of that community, and then you're going to express that through their dress. And these ideas obviously spread with the spread of British Empire. So you see a lot of that actually being adopted in Asian schools, but that obviously comes to the United States. You would see maybe 20th century, it's mostly the Catholic schools and the high-end elite prep schools that adopt uniforms. The more of a wide uniform use in just a generic, either Christian classical schools or some even public schools started looking in uniforms. That's probably more of a 80s, so not quite that far back in history. So that will bring you to the question, today, why a school might adopt the uniform program. I think there are a couple of, maybe start with reasons that are still common, and I would say they're probably not the best idea. If you're adopting a uniform program to prevent bullying in your school, yes, there are statistics that would show that there is certain correlation, but probably not the best method if this is your primary hope to improve the culture in your school. In not the best way to convince your parents and students to participate. For feeling like you can charge higher tuition because you look like a prep school because everybody's wearing uniform. Again, somewhere in there in the mix, but probably not the best selling point to your school community. My personal belief, the uniform is really a great way to build a school culture. And if you're able to communicate that well to your parents and to your students, what are the more godly, wholesome reason for that outward display of our unity as a school body, of our calling as a student, that we dress up to school because we're doing something that's of high value, that's worthy, that we're going to apply our whole being into for those hours that we're there. That these are things that hopefully you can get your students on board with and excited about being part of that group and eliminate some of that friction.
Hey, school success makers, Mitchell here. I just want to take a really quick break from the show to give a big, huge shout out to the Herzog Foundation. I absolutely love the Herzog Foundation. I've been friends and partners with them for a couple years now, but we're bringing it to a whole new level. And I'm excited to share that our very own School Success podcast is now featured on the Herzog Foundation Podcast Network. The Herzog Foundation is a powerhouse of resources designed to support schools like yours, from free training events through the Herzog Foundation Institute to their incredible online news publication, The Lion, and of course, our new podcast, Home. They have everything you need to stay informed and inspired. And if you're dreaming of starting your own Christian school or co-op, don't miss their online course, Schoolbox. It's a fantastic resource to help you get started on the right foot. At School Success, we're proud to partner with the Herzog Foundation to bring you these valuable tools and insights. So visit herzogfoundation.com to explore all they have to offer. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on these amazing opportunities for growth and success. And I love all the people over there, and I know you guys will too. So please, please go check them out, and you won't be disappointed. Now, back to the show. I like that. I mean, I remember for years, I was on the fence for just the idea of it. Again, being a homeschool family, I was like, I don't really need to have a dog. I don't have a dog in the fight, But excuse me, when I was talking to my wife about it, we were hearing her side of it from wearing uniforms, and then me not really understanding. I was like, I was on the side of I would never want to have uniforms, I think it's controlling. It's not letting them express themselves, all that stuff. Cause that's what I had heard from her side. But then I remember reading a blog. This is probably 4 years ago. And after I read that blog, completely changed my mindset and perspective. And it was honestly over just one thing that really changed my mind. And I know I shared this with you on our first call, but it was talking about, if you have all these students and they're all looking the same, they're all in uniform, you can look out over the group of students and know which one doesn't belong or which adult doesn't belong in this thing. And with the safety of our kids at the number one priority, and with all the stuff that's been going on across the world in the United States, I'm like, I like the idea of being able to just look out and go, that kid doesn't belong. Like, that's not right there, supposed to be there. Or that adult shouldn't be in this room because it doesn't match the rest of them, just for the safety piece. Because, man, if you look at a random just public school or any school that doesn't do uniforms, it's madness. There's just like constant, hundreds and hundreds of people all wearing different things, hats, no hats, hoodies, no, like it's crazy. So I'm like, well, how would you know if that person actually is there and they belong there? And so I was like, that from that day on, I was like, I'm on the uniform train. I'm totally fine with that. I'm also a very simple person. So I've told my wife, I know she doesn't want this. I'm like, I want my own uniform just for myself. Just like every day I wear the same thing. So I don't have to think about it. I don't have to worry about it. I can buy the same, few shirts, rotate through. That sounds amazing to me. Cause I've never been a person to express myself through clothes, never, ever. And I just want I like simplicity. And so I was like, oh, man, I want my own uniform. And then I told her if I ever start a school one day, which if I thought about starting something one day, I was like, I would make uniforms. Cause I just think I do like that for multiple reasons, which the number one I just shared with you. So I'm on the uniform train. So I'm with you on all these things.
Well, welcome on board. Then I just add something to that student anxiety level that you mentioned that a little bit. Having had teenage children, that peace that comes with the fact that they don't have to make that morning decision about who to be at school today, with outward appearance that it's given to me, it really brings just a lot of peace to the student that out of their, especially in the teenage years, they're so tumultuous. It's complicated to be a 13, 15-year-old. Taking that one thing off of their plate really is a huge blessing to the child.
Yeah. I know it sounds so simple and so easy. Like, would that really have that big of a difference? I just more so look at myself. Literally in the mornings, I go in there, look at the closet, and I go, okay, this pair of shorts or pants, does it go with that shirt? I can't remember because I'm really bad at matching. I'm really bad at it. It's like knowing if colors go with what color. So I'm always like, hey, babe, does this match? Like, and just go together because I'm horrible at it. And so I hate that. I want to be able to go, oh, I'm just going to wear the same thing today. And then so I know if that's me, there's got to be kids going, oh my goodness, what am I going to wear? Oh, that's not clean. I can't wear it. And so even for that alone, yes, just like the drama and the craziness of a morning, just wake up and know you're wearing this and you're out the door. Everybody's going to look the same. I don't see anything wrong with it. You got church to express yourself. You got after school, go put on whatever you want and then go out to the mall or whatever kids are doing these days, and you can express yourself that way if you need to. So I'm on it for that side. So if a school's listening, let's say they do uniforms, let's say they don't, but they're looking at switching to uniforms, like somebody might be listening going, I don't even know how uniforms work. So, and until I talked with you that first time, I didn't really understand how it worked either. Because does a school typically just say, hey, we have uniforms here, buy this from Amazon, and then you're good. You're good. We'll send you a patch to embroider on the shirt? Or how do uniforms actually work? I know that's a broad question because every school is going to do it a little bit differently probably. But when a school does do uniforms, what does that process currently look like?
Mm-hmm. Excellent question. So a school will put together something what's called a uniform policy. So they usually, most of the schools would change the policy depending of grade level. So maybe your, elementary school wears this type of clothing, your middle school this, your high school that. Part of that to distinguish your three schools, and it comes back to the comment that you made earlier. You want to be able to look and see, okay, why is my high school student in the kindergarten class? There are other ways that you can probably spout that, but it helps the kids kind of transition into a new thing. The other reason why schools would change the uniform policy with the grade level is that the children actually physically grow, and they also grow in maturity. So just, for example, for girls, the ship, which is like a one-piece type of dress, for a little girl, this is the most easy and comfortable thing to put on. Having 18, 19-year-old, the same type of outfit, the comfort is not really our main concern at this point. We're looking a little bit more into, various aspects of beauty and the fact that we need to transition to more adult clothing. The same will be true of a blazer. You want your high school boys to get used to the idea of wearing some kind of a blazer sport jacket, not necessarily something that you need your kindergartner to be concerned with. So I think there's different reasons why you would change not only your color pattern, but just the type of clothing that will match the age and just the physical abilities of a child. Again, picking on the kindergarten student, they're going to go to the bathroom several times during the day. If you require them to have a belt on, that's something that they're just physically not able to deal with in that bathroom situation at the age, most likely. High school students, perfectly capable of taking care of those little aspects of their attire. So that was a really explanation why you would probably want to distinguish the different age groups for your students with your uniform policy. So once you have the policy in place, which was tell you these are the type of whatever pants, skirts, polos, tops, sweaters, and these are the colors that we would expect our students to wear. The patch, sometimes it goes on the polo, sometimes it goes on the sweater, sometimes it goes on the vest. It's all up to school to decide how they would like to manage that. The second layer, so the uniform policy, the second layer would be to tell the parents where to buy the uniforms from. So there's several vendors that specialize just in uniform stuff. The next thing, you would select your vendor, and most of those vendors, they would actually provide you tools on the website to put together your school profile and help the parents kind of decide what the actual items are. And that's the most important for the items that are either a very specific color or they have embroidery on. I would recommend for schools to have flexibility. For example, if you say khaki pants, allow the parents to choose maybe not just this one brand, but allow to bring in other vendors and other brands in. Just because, especially those pants and polos, they're really personal, and students might have various tactile issues with different types of tags that are itchy, or the color, or the button, and the pants are not comfortable. Our students, some are tall, some are short, some are super skinny. Is just a really recommend for a school to give flexibility on those particular items. to allow multiple vendors just for a student can find something they're actually comfortable in. Um, so once you have these two things in place, this is what you communicate to the parents. And again, I will stress, if your school is not able to communicate the why behind the school uniform policy, uh, you're just setting yourself up for a lot of conflict with both your student body and your parents. That if they think that's just another, required to do an expense, that they're going to push back on you. It's just a natural thing to do. If you're able to sell their mission and get them excited about the thing that you can accomplish in a school culture thanks to the uniforms, then it's a win for everyone.
What's a cost breakdown of like, if I know this again varies based on what a school's requiring, but what does a typical uniform cost a family when they go to buy one? And then how many do they typically need? I mean, if they got one, it could be maybe $50, but they need 5 of them. What does that look like?
Very good question. So that depends a lot on the uniform policy that the school implements. The embroidered items cost a lot more than the non-embroidered items. Some of the uniform items, especially from the uniform vendors, like sweaters and those shifts and skirts that come in some kind of plaid patterns, they're usually made from material that's indestructible, but they also cost a lot more. So we might be looking at $50 to $100 per item on that embroidered sweater. But then you probably don't need as many because the chances of your child destroying that particular piece are pretty low. Your pants and polos, if the polos are embroidered, again, that brings us the cost up. But these you should be able to find, for under $20 a piece. And how many? It really depends on your child's personality. If you have a very studious child that sits in the corner, reads a book at recess, and never drops their peanut butter sandwich on their lap, you can probably go for several days in the same outfit. If you have an active young man at home, you're gonna need at least one per day for a week, and you might need to replace them multiple times during the school year because the pants are going to get ripped, which is a wonderful thing if you have an active child that scores that touchdown at recess and it costs a new pair of pants. It's okay.
I would definitely have been the kid that probably needed to bring a pair with me. So I'm like, oh, I got that one dirty and ruined. If I went to school, 100%. I was still to this day, my wife says I'm really rough on clothes, which I am. Like I'll get a shirt. It just doesn't last as long because I'm very active. I like playing with the kids or doing things. So I would have been the kid that definitely needed at least 5 uniforms for sure. Or my mom would have been going crazy. So,
which brings me to a great tip for a school that has the uniform program. Have a box in the closet, especially on the smaller sizes, to give to the kids during the school day when they need to.
Man, again, I could see that happening, and I could see this obviously costing families a lot of money. Obviously, let's just talk about one student. If it's $100, let's just say average, and they need $500 just to drop at the beginning of the year that you probably weren't thinking of or planning on, is a lot. And let's say you have 2, 3, 4 kids, like this could add up really, really, really quickly, which I know, of course, comes into play with the service you offer and the software you have available. Tell us a little bit about what you do, like what Uniformi is and how it works. And because I think people go, oh, I see it now. There's all this expense when it comes to uniforms, but there is a way that potentially your school could save some money and people could save some money on their uniforms.
Absolutely. So we talked about the uniform policy. We talked about selecting a vendor. So I would say kind of the third layer school you want to put on the uniform program is an internal school's uniform swap, which allows the parents to exchange the outgrown uniform items that are still in good shape for somebody else's outgrown uniform items. A lot of schools have some kind of uniform swap in place. They're not always run in a very efficient way. They're not always run in a very parent-friendly way. And I think this would be my biggest sell for a school administration for having a well-run uniform swap. It will be a really good opportunity for a school to get a positive buy-in with the parents to do something for the parents that they appreciate, enjoy, and are grateful for. Most of the interaction between school and the parent is either in crisis mode or some kind of must happen event. Uh, so a well-run uniform swap can be a blessing to the parent that they will appreciate and enjoy and see the school really as an ally that's there to help them. Um, so again, a rare opportunity for a school to provide that kind of service to a parent, and it can really build a lot of trust uh, with the school. So, what is a well-run uniform swap? Uh, a it would be a place where the parent gets a fair value for the clothing that they're donating. Uh, the easiest way to operate a uniform swap is to have a bin kind of in your entryway where parents can drop things off and then somebody else can come and dig through it and take it home with them. This system does not give any value to the people donating the clothes uh, and really discourages the people from picking anything up because most families are going to think there's somebody who needs the freebie more than I do. So the clothes just lay there. So adding that transactional layer to the program helps boost the participation. I put in something and I get a fair value out of the system. So this is kind of where the Uniform platform comes into play because it provides the school an online resource where your entire inventory is available to the parents from the comfort of their couch and their smartphone. They can see everything that is in stock without having to dig through a bin. They get a fair value for the uniforms that they're donating, and they can use those credits that they built to take outdoor uniforms out of that swap system for their children. So from the finance perspective, Mitch, like you were in the beginning, you might have to spend a couple of $100 for my original set of clothing. But once I'm in the system, I donate and then I buy what I need. And that kind of self-perpetuating cycle can sell families, hundreds and maybe thousands of dollars over the school career of their child.
Hey, I just want to take a really quick break from the podcast to highlight one of our amazing partners and sponsors, ClassReach. If you're a new school administrator or founder and are struggling to keep up with all the hassles of planting a new school, like collecting tuition, communicating with parents, or handling student data, then you need ClassReach. ClassReach is the all-in-one software that helps with everything from admissions and tuition to classroom management and parent communications. Sign up for a free consultation with one of their school specialists and see how ClassReach can help your school grow today. You guys can check them out online, classreach.com. They are a kingdom-minded company, and I love their leadership team there. I've become friends with a lot of them. They truly are a great company. I support them, and I love them, and you guys will love them too. Check them out at classreach.com. Now, back to the show. Yeah, I love that. And it's not making them go to waste where they're like, I guess I'll just donate them to Goodwill. And then somebody else has the uniform that shouldn't have the uniform that's out there because they bought the clothes. And it just makes a lot more sense to be able to, why would you not want to let somebody else in the school use a uniform your son or daughter has outgrown? So I love that it gives the people the ability to do that. And I've never heard about that before. Like where there's a software available to help people with that. Obviously, typically it's, I would thought, hey, anybody need this? And you're randomly trying to get it to somebody, but it might not be the right size. And it's just awkward and it's a pain in the butt. It's like Facebook Marketplace, but worse because I'm not a big Facebook Marketplace fan typically because people don't respond to you. So it could be like one of those things. So it's taking all of that out. Parent can just donate it, take it to the school, say here it is, and then they're done. Because the school's handling the rest of the transaction. The parent doesn't have to do anything else with monitoring who's swapped it out or bought it, correct? As parents done.
Exactly. Your child can bring the items to school with them, drop it at the front desk, and if you order something, they just bring it back from school with them when they come home. It's that simple.
I love it. So tell me, so obviously we have school leaders listening to this episode. What does it look like on the school side? Because they're like, okay, cool, great resource to offer to the families. man, are we going to have to pay for this software? What is it like to manage the software? Is it another person that needs to come in to help manage this? So they're going to have to hire somebody. Like, tell them a little bit about, like, they might like the sound of it, but now what's the practicality of it for them implementing the software?
Mm-hmm. So right now we'll ask a school to have some kind of uniform coordinator to manage the process. So when the uniform comes, it needs to get entered into the system. Doesn't take very long, and the request comes, the item needs to get pulled off the shelf, whatever, put with a little bag with the last, just wherever student's last name, to send it home with them. So there's a little bit of work on the school side. From our experience, watching the different schools run the program, for a school of medium size, maybe 300 to 500 students, it's maybe half an hour a week of somebody's time to manage that intake and outtake. Obviously, there's a high and low seasons, the beginning of the school year. It's high halfway through the school year, and then maybe repurchasing at the end of the school year for the next season. So it kind of comes in waves. Schools say that there might be a month when there's actually almost no work required. So there is that kind of position at the school for a uniform coordinator. Somebody needs to be there. From the financial perspective, we talked about the parents getting in-store credit for the uniforms they donate. The system's open to any parents in the school if they don't have credit. So those parents will just pay cash for the uniforms they're purchasing from the system. And that is the school's money to keep. So those funds can help you maybe pay your uniform coordinator or purchase some uniforms for scholarship families. This is school's decision what to do with those additional funds that the program generates for them. Uniform, you take right now 5% cut of the school's profits. So this is their fee for using our system is just 5% of the money that the school makes.
So no monthly fee at all, just whenever the software is used.
Exactly. Yeah. So it is a fantastic deal for the school.
Love it. Well, if somebody wants to sign up and learn more about what you have to offer, how can they get in touch with you or find the software online?
Mm-hmm. Uniform.me, so uniform and 2es.com website. There's a schedule a demo button right in the homepage, or you can email me at contact@uniforme.com.
I love it. All right. Well, Joanna, I always ask everybody the same question at the very end of the podcast. And it's, you've been doing this obviously, for a while. You got kids in school. I'm sure you have some advice you'd love to share with some other school leaders. It can be anything you want, but if you were to share just a random piece of advice, could be on uniforms, could be anything. What would your one piece of advice be?
My piece of advice to the school that does have uniforms would be to get a full buy-in in the uniform, especially from their upperclassmen. Your seniors are probably your best allies, and if they understand your school culture, they understand your school vision and mission, they will wear those uniforms with pride and joy, and they will be the best allies for you to help your middle schoolers that might be struggling with the self-expression aspect and maybe being restrained by the uniform. If they have the upperclassmen to look up to, that would ease a lot of the tension in the school community.
That's good advice. I agree. Well, Joanna, thank you for taking time out of your day to hop on the podcast and for teaching our listeners about uniforms and how you guys can help them make that less worrisome and stressful, hopefully on the school, but as well as the parents as well. So really appreciate that, and keep growing your business, and looking forward to seeing what happens.
Thank you.
Well, another huge shout out and a thank you to Joanna for taking time and being on the podcast today. I love what she's doing to help schools with the hassle of uniforms. And I'm hoping if that is a hassle of your school, if you thought about doing uniforms, you will check out their company and see how they can help. Because again, like I said on the podcast, I was not a believer in uniforms for so long. And now I'm like, I see it. I see the reason why uniforms can be super beneficial. So, but to each their own, to each school their own. But I hope this was a helpful and good resource for you guys. And if it was, obviously share it with other school leaders that you know in the uniform space. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or ideas, you can let us know and go to our website, schoolsuccessmakers.com, and let us know. But before you guys go for today, I do want to make sure you're always aware of our 3 free resources available here at School Success. The first one is, of course, the podcast you're listening to right now. We are launching and dropping episodes every single Monday morning. So if you want to not miss them, make sure you are subscribed, completely free to do so. And if you're loving our content, take a couple minutes real quick, leave us a 5-star review. We really would greatly appreciate that. And not last but not least, the second one is on our website, schoolsuccessmakers.com. Top right-hand corner is a button, the School Success Report. We send that directly to you every single week. And it's different resources and articles our team has either found or we have written to help you, the school leader, be more successful. We want to make sure you're not missing out on that one as well. So go over there and subscribe to that. Last but not least is our free Facebook community, School Success Makers. We want to make sure you're in there. I'm personally in there and would love to see you in there as well. Get to know other school leaders across the country, ask questions, build up community, because we all know community is so incredibly important and we all need it. And that's one place we've been trying to help bridge the gap and facilitate that with school leaders so that they don't feel alone in what they're doing, because you guys are awesome and I love you guys and appreciate all you're doing to pour into this next generation that's coming behind us. So keep up the good work, and we'll be back here next week with another awesome guest as usual on the School Success Podcast. We'll see you then. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Herzog Foundation.